On the docket for today's Philadelphia Eagles, now some Eagles news and observations after what was a really impressive win over the Dallas Cowboys. Before we get into that, earlier today did talk about the breaking news around Dallas Goedert, a fracture in his forearm set to miss multiple weeks. Discussed the impact that injury could have on this Eagles offense, but also some potential replacements. That video is up on the channel, so check it out after this one. And this is why you subscribe to the program, because even though the Birds are on a bye week, we take no breaks with our content. Join the 61,500 people who have already subscribed to the program worldwide. Hit that sub button. With that, go Birds. Let's start the show. And today's Philadelphia Eagles now is presented by Roan. I encourage you to check out their commuter collection. I am wearing their commuter dress shirt right now, and we have a great deal for all of our viewers. 20% off, roan.com/chatsports. With the commuter collection, you can really spice up your wardrobe. Look, temperatures are starting to dip, daylight saving out of here, and you need to add to what you're wearing in the fall. The Roan Commuter Collection allows you to do just that. High-quality men's clothing, all of these materials, breathable, stretchable fabric. That's why I really like it, because they're durable. No need to go to the dry cleaner, because the more that you wear these shirts, the wrinkles disappear. Anti-odor technology. And as I said, if you're looking for a dress shirt like this, you've seen me wear the polo before. They have pants as well as shorts. It's 20% off your order at roan.com/chatsports. We'll put that link down below in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. Get signed up. Bunch of new colors, a bunch of new ideas that you can come up with when you get all of their products. We appreciate them for sponsoring today's Eagles Now. So I want to start off with this. And obviously, we did a post-game show last night following our watch party. Another great one. More than 90,000 people tuned in. We gave away our autographed Michael Vick jersey to the homie Romeo. Why this win was impressive to me, as you let it kind of marinate over the last several hours and overnight, you beat the Dallas Cowboys and you came back to win this football game. And what I love about the identity of this Eagles victory, you're down by 3 at halftime, then after recess, unsure about Jalen Hurts' injury, you take control of the football game. Back-to-back scoring drives for Philadelphia to take that 11-point advantage. And that gave you some of that cushion to work with late in the game as the Cowboys were looking to mount that comeback. Red zone offense continues to get better under first-year offensive coordinator Brian Johnson. Philadelphia against a very good Cowboys defensive attack, 3 of 3, turning red zone trips into touchdowns. That had been a thing throughout the first month and a half of the season that was holding this ball club back. Philadelphia able to win this game, go to 8-1, take a commanding lead in the NFC East, commanding lead for the number 1 seed in the NFC. Only other team you're kind of competing with right now is the Detroit Lions, and you beat a division rival and a quality team without playing your A game. If Philadelphia doesn't fumble the football a couple of times, if they clean up on some of the defensive lapses in that secondary, again, can you imagine how good the Eagles could be and can be if everything starts to click at once? This improves your chances of getting the number 1 seed in the NFC. We'll break down the math a little bit later. And then lastly, why this win was impressive, Sean Desai with some great, masterful defensive adjustments at halftime. Dallas, 17 points in the first half, 6 points after the break. And I want to address this classic Cowboys fan behavior. It's hilarious what you're seeing on social media today and what you saw in the aftermath of the Cowboys losing yet another big-time ball game in a big-time spot. The brotherly shove has the Cowboys radio announcers telling Jerry Jones' son, who's in the competition committee, to ban the brotherly shove. It has other grown men on social media crying. They're outraged. It's hilarious in a way. And then Cowboys fans are complaining and crying about the officiating, saying the Philadelphia Eagles, they're the wonder kids of the NFL. They can do no wrong. Did they miss Super Bowl 57 when James Bradbury was called for a penalty that oftentimes is not called, which resulted in the Eagles losing the Super Bowl? Like, get out of here with that. And let's not act like, if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, let's be real here. You know how good that would be for the business of the NFL, and Cowboy fans are acting like the NFL and officials have a vendetta against this organization and this fan base. Don't let the classic Cowboys fans' soft complaining behavior overshadow what was a great win for the Eagles. I'm sure a lot of you are not, because you're walking with a lot of confidence today with the Birds getting that big dub. But look, if Cowboy fans want to blame the officiating, there are so many examples and reasons why the Cowboys should have won this game but did not. And let's break it all down, right? Dallas scored 6 points in the second half. Philadelphia comes out after the break, back-to-back drives, scoring touchdowns to take control of the game. Dallas, 17 points in that first half, as I said, 6 points in that second half. And then you think about the missed opportunities for this Cowboys team and where Philadelphia rose up to the occasion in the pressure cooker to come up with clutch plays. Eagles got that massive stop at the goal line thanks to Reed Blankenship's tackle on Luke Schoonmaker, the tight end, as that was overturned from a touchdown to him being short on that fourth down. Dak Prescott on the 2-point conversion stepped out of bounds on a play that would have made it a field goal game, and then Dallas, all they would have had to do, instead of scoring a touchdown in the waning moments, they just would have had to kick a field goal to send this game into overtime. And the Cowboys were gift-wrapped an opportunity to win this football game. They were given, about 90 yards in penalties to go all the way down to the 6-yard line, and after the Cowboys got to the 6-yard line, this is how the sequence played out for the remainder of that football game. There was that penalty pre-snap on offensive lineman Tyler Smith. So that hurt the Cowboys once they got to the 6, and that backed them up 5 yards. Following play, Dak Prescott sacked by Josh Sweat. More on him in a moment as he continues to be one of the best edge rushers in the game. There was a Dak incompletion. Another inexcusable penalty by the Cowboys, a delay of game called. And then Dak threw short of the end zone to C.D. Lamb. He fumbled the football, and the Eagles recovered. So many opportunities for the Cowboys to win this game that didn't have to do with the officiating, and you're complaining about the officiating here? I just don't understand it. What I love, too, about this game for Philadelphia is the fact that the defense finished this game strong. And the Eagles' defensive line won out at the end. Going into this game, I had said, look, pretty evenly matched teams, right? But Philadelphia is definitely more talented. No excuses to lose this game at home, considering the big spot. And when we went position by position, comparing these two teams, I said Eagles slightly had the better defensive line because of their depth. And throughout the course of a 60-minute ball game, that defensive line talent and the defensive line depth won out for Philadelphia, and that's why Dak Prescott was getting pressured late in the game when it mattered the most. Some concerns that I do have, and there are a lot, and a lot of us share those same concerns. Eagles offense got way too conservative at the end of the game, and the secondary continues to be an issue. They were picked apart. Dak Prescott had a hell of a game, but the last 3 possessions for this Eagles offense, I hated it. And Nick Sirianni kind of prides himself in this organization on being aggressive. Go big, go home, fall on the sword if it means that you're playing to your identity, which is being an aggressive football team. The Eagles, 3 consecutive 3-and-outs. This offense has carried this team so many times over the last 2 years, yet they couldn't pick up a first down. And if they picked up even just 1 first down, would have saved us from nearly having a heart attack live on the show, and Eagles fans worldwide from having a heart attack. But 3 plays, 5 yards, 3 plays, 7 yards, 3 plays, 2 yards. That's not going to get it done. I know there was a controversial play on that last third down when Jalen Hurts threw deep down the sideline to A.J. Brown. Ball wasn't bad. Brown failed to track it. Nick Sirianni said with the way that Brown has been playing, he's been unstoppable, one-on-one coverage. I don't hate the play call because of that. I said it live here on the show. You got to go with the more high percentage play. In-breaking route, quarterback rollout for Hurts, where he can have routes layered and his vision gets helped on that side of the field. If nothing is there, he can maybe use his legs to run for it, but that was not good. And in a big spot in a playoff game, you can't be conservative. Hopefully the Eagles learn their lesson. As for Brian Johnson, so much chatter at the start of the year that he should get fired. The Eagles offense was really struggling, and it's an easy conversation for the fans to point to, and he's an easy person to blame for the Eagles' struggles. Let's be real, though. You see what's going on with the Indianapolis Colts? Shane Steichen is doing a great job as the first-year head coach there. They are a legitimate threat to make the playoffs year one of a rebuild in the AFC, especially playing in the AFC South. Shane Steichen's doing a really good job. Great play caller, great play designer, great offensive mind. He helped Justin Herbert as a rookie set records. He helped tutor and develop Jalen Hurts. When you lose a guy like that, it's difficult to replace him. So Brian Johnson was on an uphill battle from the time he took this job. But even if you still think that Brian Johnson stinks, which he doesn't because the numbers prove otherwise, take a look at these numbers here. Under first-year offensive coordinator Brian Johnson, Eagles right now going into the bye, number 2 in points in the NFL, number 2 in yards, number 1 in first downs, top 5 in both rushing and passing yards. And Philadelphia yesterday, 3 of 3 in the red zone, and they have now scored more points in their first 9 games this year than they did last year. Going back to that other issue, the secondary. Dak Prescott, got to give him credit where credit is due. I thought he was tremendous yesterday, especially making some of the plays that he did out of structure, extending plays with his legs. Once the pass rush couldn't get home, Philadelphia had no answers. 29 of 44 for Dak, 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. Didn't come up in the guts of the game, which is the classic Cowboys story over the last 3 decades. And then on the receiving end, CeeDee Lamb went off. And the concern here is that when the Eagles get deep into the playoffs, or if they face a Chiefs, a Bengals, a Bills in the Super Bowl, they're going to be going up against a very, very potent offensive attack. And if they can't stop anybody through the air, like what we saw last year against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, when the only incompletion for Mahomes was a throwaway in the second half, that's how you could lose a ball game. Elsewhere with CeeDee Lamb, take a look at these numbers, man. This is pretty wild. Eagles defense is coming from Jeff McClain, Philadelphia Inquirer, struggling to cover CeeDee Lamb in the slot with a variety of players. Overall, they allowed a combined 13 of 15 passing for 206 yards and a touchdown. The breakdowns per Pro Football Focus, Eli Ricks lined up on CD for 32 snaps, allowed 4 of 4 passes for 72 yards. Kevin Byard, 15 snaps, 3 of 3 for 71. Sidney Brown, tall test for the rookie, didn't respond. 13 snaps, 4 of 4 for 50 yards and a touchdown. Reed Blankenship, 8 snaps against CD, 1 of 2 for 0 touchdowns. And then Darius Slay, 1 of 2 for 13 yards. He did go to Sean Desai late in the game, even though that he was injured, and said, if CD's in the slot, line me up in the slot. I want CD. The good news for Philadelphia, Bradley Roby expected to return after the bye. The bad news is now other teams are going to see this, and they're going to see that the Eagles have a weakness at slot nickel corner, which is partially why they addressed at the trade deadline going after Kevin Byard, and they're going to try to target that. Now, a lot of you did ask me, Chase, why is Eli Ricks going up against CeeDee Lamb? Why didn't Sean Desai take him off of him? I mean, he tried to, but everybody else got cooked, right? And you're already down bodies at slot nickel without Avonte Maddox, of course, with that pec injury, and then without Bradley Roby as well. So 2 videos today. Really appreciate y'all for the support here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. If you want to contact me and interact with me, I'm on X at Chase_Senior, Instagram at Chase_Senior. Feel free to shoot me an email as well, chase@chatsports.com. Next up, Josh Sweat. He's legit, and it's time to start talking about Josh Sweat as one of the top defensive ends in football. His 50 pressures tied for first in the NFL alongside Micah Parsons, and his 6.5 sacks, that's tied for 13th in the NFL. And you look at the quarterback pressure leaders, 2 names highlighted in green, both Eagles. Micah Parsons, Josh Sweat tied atop the league with those 50 pressures. Alex Highsmith has 49 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Josh Allen of Doug Peterson's Jacksonville Jaguars with 48. And then Hassan Reddick really has come on over the last month and change, really since that Rams game when he finally got off the schneid with those 2 sacks of Matthew Stafford. 43 pressures. And what I love, too, about this Eagles defense, last few weeks and multiple times this year, when they've needed to sack the quarterback in a crucial spot, whether it's Sweat, Whether it's Brandon Graham, who played a whale of a game yesterday, Hassan Reddick, Jalen Carter, whoever, they've come up clutch when they've needed to the most. Philadelphia, now off to this 8-1 start. You look at the other 8-1 starts in franchise history. Hopefully the Eagles on a similar trajectory here in 2023. In 1949, they won the NFC Championship game. Same could be said for 1960. In 1980, lost the Super Bowl. 2004, lost the Super Bowl. 2017, they won it. Only Lombardi Trophy in franchise history. And then last year, we know what happened. I still have not watched the highlights. Lost that Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. Some notes here about the Eagles' playoff seeding and Jalen Hurts to round out the show. James Nagel, a look at just how important that win was for the Eagles against the Cowboys. If Philadelphia goes 3-2 in their next 5 games, wins in week 16 through 18, Giants twice in Arizona, would clinch the NFC East. That's pretty good right there. It wouldn't even matter if the Cowboys were able to go 9-0 in that stretch. So mathematically, Philadelphia in a really good spot right now. As for Hurts, what we're witnessing right now is really, really unique, really special. And I do believe that oftentimes a team operates and carries itself, modeling itself after the, I guess, aura and the personality of their quarterback. This team is tough, and they win. Jalen Hurts is tough. He wins ball games, and he's starting to put himself into elite territory. Hurts now 10-0 against teams with a winning record since 2022. That's the best among all quarterbacks with 5+ starts since 2022. Hurts is also 12-1, including the playoffs, with his lone loss against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. And we talk about that elite category. According to Elias Sports, Hurts just the 5th quarterback since 1950 to win 25+ games over the span of 27 starts in the regular season. So he is now 25-2. The others, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Jim McMahon, and Joe Montana. Number 1 is him, and we're so happy that he is ours. Give us a go, Birds, here to round out the show. E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles! Gotta love it. We'll be back tomorrow, live on Wednesday this week. Like I said, even though it's the bye week, our coverage continues, so make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications.